What's going on, guys? It's your boy King Red Diamonds, and I'm back for another Nioh 2 video. Today I'm trying something different. Today, instead of me doing the info and breakdown of the build in the beginning, I'll be doing that in the latter half of the video. I will instead be voicing over the fighting part. That way you can hear me talk to you about the build, as well as, watch me use the build in action. I had a good time using this build. It's very fun, very fast-paced build. Good for skill-based players, but also good for people who aren't very skill-based, newer players as well. It's very, very tanky. It's very, very powerful. So it has both the goods and the bads. It has everything that you could possibly need to use out of a build. You might be asking, oh no, or might be saying, oh no, it's another dual sword build. This is not a dual sword build, and I cannot repeat that enough. This is not a dual sword build. This is any weapon build. This build will work with any weapon except for the axe and odachi and stuff like that. Any weapon that's very heavy and slow moving will not work well with this build. But sword, dual swords, split staff, fists, tonfa, kusarigama, pretty much all the weapons that allow you fast moving actions, they'll work very, very well with this build. This build will be devastating with all those weapons. I chose dual swords because that's what I'm the best with. Dual swords is my best weapon, so I chose that. But let me know, guys, if you like the new template of this video. Let me know if you like how I'm doing them now. I'm trying my best to appeal to my audience and give them the information they want, when they want it, how they want it. Okay, I feel like this will be a lot easier for people to grasp. That way you don't have to stick around to the end of the video to watch me fight. You can just watch a fight and leave if you want, or if you really do appreciate the way the build looks, then you'll stick around to the end to see the information and how I put it together and stuff. But in this videos, I'm no longer using any missions from Dream of the Nioh. No longer using missions from Dream of the Nioh, so there's no more refined man of the underworld, none of that at all. Only underworld, depths of the underworld, and scrolls of the damned. Reason why scrolls of the damned are recommended of level 750, meaning that they pretty much are to be done with a player that is level 750 or higher. You can complete a scroll of the damned lower than level 750, but since that is the recommended level, it makes more sense for me to do it that way. But yeah, you saw how we finished off Binky. Not too much of a problem. I think this is like floor 6 depths of the underworld. I'm not sure, I forgot to look at it, but in the beginning, if you pause it, you'll see that. Next, this is a scroll of the damned, as you can see right there, recommended level 750. But yeah, so pretty much just running through this stuff. I'm going to do it this way. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. But back to the build. Like I said, it was really fun to using, but it was sucked putting together because it took so long to grind the pieces, because most of the pieces came from depths of the underworld. So it wasn't the best grind, but I did what I could and made it work as much as I possibly could. As you can see, the build is very fast. Even if it's in heavy armor, but it's in heavy armor, be agility, but it's very, very fast. So anybody who's very skilled at the game, I would recommend you go with light armor, or try to get yourself into a agility. That way you are insanely fast. You'll be blazing fast, like so fast the enemies probably won't even be able to touch you. But yeah, I went with B agility because I'm not the best at this game. I've never claimed to be. I'm okay, I'm pretty good, but I've never claimed to be the best and stuff. So I'm gonna have times where I get hit like that. I'm gonna have times where I take damage, because like I said, I'm not the best. I'm just here as a reference. I'm here as a guide. I'm here as a tutorial for anyone to use me as they see fit. I'm here to just show you that these are builds that can be put together. Some people may want to know, what can I possibly use? What sets can I use? Or you might say to yourself, I have a set in mind. I have a set that I've really been thinking about using, but I'm not sure I want to go through the grind of putting it together. That's what I'm here for. You let me know and I'll put it together, and I'll show you how well it can do. But yeah, It's been, you know, it's been a really fun time with this channel. Like I appreciate, you know, people giving me feedback and letting me know that maybe I could do this differently, maybe I could do this better, or maybe I can just, you know, put the information in a certain position for you to understand better. I'm always working, always learning, always growing. So I appreciate everyone who's giving me the feedback that I needed to, you know, push my channel even further. We are getting closer to 500 subs, so I appreciate everyone who's subbed. It means the world to me. I'm getting so much closer to my goal, so thank you so much to all those people. But yeah, William should be the last person in this fight, so I'm gonna let myself, you know, finish doing this, and then I'll be back for the second half of the video, in which I go over all the stats, the breakdown of the build, and everything. So I will see you guys in the second part.
K-Dub, K-Dub, K-Dub.
Alright guys, so welcome back to the second half of the video. This is the part where I'm going to break down the build. I'm going to break down the weapons. I'm going to break down the gear. I'm going to break down the graces. I'm going to break down my accessories, my scroll, my items, my guardian spirit, my clan, skills, skill tree, stats, all that stuff. So if you're here after the first part of the video, thank you so much. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell to make sure you know whenever I upload and whenever I say or do anything. Thank you guys again for staying with me and rocking with me, and I appreciate you all. So let's get into this build. So first, I am running Ame no Uzume's Grace, 7 pieces, with Grace of Shinin Sahiko, 6 pieces. You get the Grace of Shinin Sahiko in Depths of the Underworld. Ame no Uzume is an all-around grace that is throughout all of Dream of Nioh. You can find it in Depths of the Underworld, but you can also find it just doing regular missions in Dream of the Nioh. But yeah, so Ame no Uzume, Shinin Sahiko. But like again, Shinin Sahiko you can only find in Depths of the Underworld, and only from floor 6 and above. So from floor 6 and above, that's when you can find Shinin Sahiko. You cannot find it in floor 1 through 5. But I'll go over what they do after I get through everything. So Shinin Sahiko, Ame no Uzume, all my pieces pretty much. As for the weapon I'm using Withered Bone and Bleached Twig. Again, this is not a dual sword build. This is strictly a everything build, minus like the heavier weapons, because this build pretty much deals with moving around very fast and pretty much doing guerrilla warfare tactics, kind of like in and out hitting and all that. So Withered Bone and Bleached Twig. Plus I think that corruption weapons are better than any other weapon in the game, because again, not only do they do increase key damage and actual damage, they steal the key from the enemy, allowing you to gain more key pulse better. So corruption weapons, in my opinion, are much better than any other weapon in the game. As for the armor sets I'm running, I was running Yuriki. I don't have the arm guard because it didn't drop on the Shinin Sahiko, but when it does, then I will just run a full Yuriki set. This set is it can be very heavy or it can be very light. I'm not sure you can be in A agility with this set, but you can have like 55, I think like 55 weight or something like that with this set. It's a lighter, heavier set. I'll say that. Like it's on the lighter side of the heavy sets. But yeah, so Yuriki set, just this Imperial Monk because this came with the Shinseihiko on it. So it works out well with the build in itself. But everything else is Yuriki. As you can see, again, I'm in heavy gear. I would recommend you to be in light gear if you're very, very good at this game. If you are very good and you're good at dodging and all this stuff, wear light armor. Light armor will take full advantage of this set because it is a very, very good build to put together both. Medicine case and the Wild Genos pillbox because they both came with the sets. This I got lucky with the set bonus requires -1. Plus it has a nice star effect on melee damage and also auto life recovery on unriddled absorption, which is really good. This one also has sloth on Omeo hit and melee damage versus 0 key enemy, which is very good. And in my scroll, ultimate courage, ultimate magic, and ultimate skill, sentience charge, and key recovery speed. This is a very, very good scroll, regardless of what you want, regardless of the build setup. If you're running a corruption weapon and you are trying to take on depths, ultimate courage and ultimate magic are almost a staple for taking on the depths. Ultimate skill is just a plus. I don't even need it. Ultimate courage and ultimate magic is all I would possibly need to go into the depths. That's it. But yeah, so that's all the gear. Now I'm going to get into the graces themselves. Alright, so I'm in the Uzume's grace. You get faster movement and faster key recovery whenever you dodge an attack. Your dodge range goes up. You consume less ki when you dodge, and then it comes with the status buff of Death Dancer. Now, for anyone who does not know what Death Dancer is, if you press the options button and you hover over it, it will give you all the information you need. So, it grants you the Death Dancer status enhancement when you perform a melee attack if you have not taken damage for a certain amount of time. Meaning that if you are to say you attack and then you dodge an attack and then you come back and hit that person in a certain amount of time, you will get 1 stack. Okay, so reading on, fulfilling the effects requirements again increases its stack by 1 up to a maximum of 9. The higher this number gets, the higher your melee attack power will be. Being hit by an enemy will cause you to lose 2 stacks, but if you block the attack, the stack will only be reduced by 1. So Death Dancer is a high risk, high reward status buff. It's a high risk, high reward, meaning that again, if you are to attack an enemy and to dodge an attack them again, you have now built up 1 stack of Death Dancer. You can build it up to 9 times. I think maxed out Death Dancer gets up to like a 70% damage buff, which is insane. So you can do that up to 9 times, but you have to make sure that you are not hit. And if you are hit, try to make sure that you're blocking if a attack actually connects with you, because there are some attacks that you just can't dodge. So blocking will be the best idea or the best chance of getting away. But yeah, so make sure that if you're using this set, you're dodging, you're getting out of the way quickly. That's why I said A agility would probably be the best to go with, because that's what this build is for. Very, very quick and fast movement. But yeah, if you get all 9 stacks of Death Dancer up, you'll be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Next is the Grace of Shinseihiko. As you can see, this grace complements Ame no Uzume almost perfectly. It has the faster key recovery on faster movement on unriddled absorption as well. It has dodge key consumption -20%, meaning that I'll consume even more less key when I dodge. And then I have key recovery speed +20%, meaning that I'm getting my key back very, very quickly, no matter what I'm doing. My key is coming back as fast as possible. It has another +30% on in extended status enhancements. That helps with ultimate magic. Ultimate magic already boosts the time in which your magic lasts. Extended status enhancements boost that again even further. So you just have so much longevity, so much synergy going on. Like, this build is very powerful. And then on the 7-piece, it has melee attacking consumption, but I'm not using that because I'm using Death Dancer. Now, if I did try to take that away, I would lose the Death Dancer attack buff. So this build would not hit as hard, but in terms of key management, it'll be elite at key management. So yeah, that is Amino Uzume's Grace and Grace of Shinatsuhiko. Again, you can find this Grace in the regular Dream of the Nioh and Underworld, but you can only find this Grace on the 6th floor or lower of Depths of the Underworld. Okay, so this is in turn an in-game build, because you won't be getting Grace of Shinatsuhiko anytime soon, especially if you haven't even gotten towards the depths yet. So this is more of an in-game build. Okay, so that's good. It takes care of the graces. Next, we'll go into our items. As you can see right here, I'm using steel for defense. If you look at it, it pretty much says increases your defense, so steel for defense. Rejuvenation is to gradually restore your health, basically to give you health regen. That's why I'm using it. Barrier gives you increased key recovery speed, which works well with the Shinatsuhiko's Grace because it already comes with an extra 20% key recovery speed, which is very good. So this helps me just get key back like instantly almost. Excuse me. It also helps you automatically dispel yokai pools. So as soon as you touch a yokai pool, boom, it's gone. Extraction Talisman is to pretty much generate Emrita whenever I'm attacking the enemy, and pretty much both sets work off of absorbing Emrita. So Extraction Talisman is very important to run with both of these sets. Arch Yokai is to give me more anima, that way I can spam my yokai abilities. Lightning Familiar is to get lightning on an enemy, to also take advantage of the Sloth from Omeo hit that I have in my accessory, as well as inflict lightning to slow down the enemy, and then I can also, it makes it easier for me to put confusion on the enemy depending on whether my weapon is either awakened or if I decide to use a certain skill that has an elemental effect to it. So Lightning Familiar is very versatile. It works in a plethora of ways, so I find it to be a very good skill to use. As for our ninjutsu, I'm using my basic speed running ninjutsu, which is for me to pretty much get through like levels quickly without having to worry about stopping or being spotted. But catwalking pretty much makes my footsteps quiet. Sneak Thief pretty much turns me invisible to run past enemies. Tiger Running increases my speed. Quick Change is to give me an extra life whenever my health hits 0. That way when I do die, I'll come back immediately because of Quick Change. That way I get a second chance. Daijin Saki, basically to help with any type of elemental debuffs, and then Clay Bell of Beckoning to help with just, you know, to hit the enemy and do damage every now and then. It's very good. It's pretty clutch. You can use it against Depths of the Underworld bosses, and they'll pretty much like attack them without having to worry about, you know, being hit. That's it for the items. My items are pretty standard. I run the same items for all my builds because they're the most versatile in my opinion. They work the best. So that's why I run these same items every time. As for our Guardian Spirit, Yumihame because of the melee key damage plus 20%. There are other Guardian Spirits that you can use. I'm using Yumihame strictly for the melee key damage and also for the faster key recovery on Emrita absorption. This is a very good yokai. This is a very good Guardian Spirit for pretty much pressuring enemies and doing like a lot of attacks. So basically attacking aggressively. This is a very good build for aggressive gameplay. But yeah, Yumihame is the Guardian Spirit. As for our Soul Cores, Magasu Warrior, it helps me generate a lot of Emrita whenever I use it. Ippon is for stun lock. Is probably one of the best yokai abilities in the game because it stun locks bosses as well as human enemies. And Aberrant Soldier is very good for centering me and comboing into with certain skills and stuff. So it's very good. It also serves as a cancel. So in the middle of combat, if you throw out an Aberrant Soldier, you're going to cancel your action and then do another one. It's very good. I like the versatility of both Aberrant Soldier and Ippon Dato. But that's it for our Guardian Spirit. If we go over to our skills trees, on the dual sword, I have everything pretty much filled out that is useful. Okay, The reason I'm saying that is because this right here, this is not useful unless you're running a crit build. Unless I want my health to be that low, I would never ever need this unless I'm running a crit build. So this is not necessary. This is only for if your health is below 30%. Not necessary. This one right here, also not necessary. This is only if you're running a crit build. You do not need these. You do not need these at all, because you're not going to stay below 30% health all the time, especially with this build. So these are not necessary unless you're running a crit build. Is what this right here, these are also not necessary. This is for if you're going to be at full health the entire time, and it's only like a 6% increase to damage. That's not enough for me to want to equip that, so it's no point in having it. Random slice and piercing will, not really necessary. I don't really I don't really have a reason to use this unless I'm just trying to, you know, like include everything, but I don't have a reason to use this at all. If you have a reason to use it, by all means use it. This right here is for parries and counters. I don't really do parries and counters, and if I do, I use this one because this one looks cooler in my opinion. Plus it does a lot more damage than this would do. So also here, I don't have this because again, this is for crit builds if your health is low. So as you can see, I have pretty much every skill. I don't have this skill either because look at that. What does that do? It doesn't do anything. So I have pretty much every skill that is possibly useful on the dual swords except for these skills. That is it. So every single skill I use. All right. I use mortal flow sometimes. Sometimes I use dual dragon, but most of the time I do. Mind's eye is very good for dodging and getting out of the way. It also gives you an attack buff if it succeeds in activating. Raijin, I use that as well because sometimes you'll get stuck in animation and I'll end up holding triangle and it'll just bust it out, and it actually works out in my favor sometimes. So I'll do that. Sound and Cross and Ultimate Sound and Cross are mainstays in this build. You're always going to use this, so yes, it's going to be very good to have. Dragon's Claws to gain anima back on grapple. It's very good, especially when you're low on anima. But yeah, as it goes, I have every single skill that's possibly needed except for these right here. This counter, I don't need these. It's for crits. Don't need this for crit builds. It's for crit builds, and I don't need this because I'm not gonna always be at one. I'm not gonna need this because this is for like being in main health, but this is also for crit build. So yeah, I don't use those at all. It's no point in my opinion. After you get all these skills maxed out, pretty much anytime you get any more skill points, just dump it right in here. That's all. Just dump it in here because at the end of the day, it's just giving you more attack. So there you go. But that is it for the skill thing. I'll explain what skills I use in the next section. So next we are going on to our actual skills that we are using. Okay, so again, like I said, I'm using Dragon Claw because it gives me a lot of anima whenever I'm running low. So Dragon Claw is in my grapple. You can use the regular grapple if you want to, but I use Dragon Claw because it gives you anima back as well as putting the grapple debuff I have on the enemy. Regular sneak attack. Now Mystic Arts, I have both Mystic Arts because my weapon has Mystic Dyad on it. So if you have Mystic Dyad on a weapon, you will have access to both Mystic Arts on that weapon, so it will not matter which one you equip because they will both be active regardless. Now if you do not have Mystic Dyad on your weapon, I suggest you either try to find a weapon with it, or try to find the specific weapon that you're using on a scroll, so that it can help you like do better in battle. But as for now, since I do have Mystic Dyad, I'm running both of these. If you don't have Mystic Dyad and you are running dual swords, the best Mystic Art I can say you use would be Firm Resolve. Firm Resolve gives you a defense buff. It gives you a defense buff, as well as I think attack buff as well. Let me see. Landing an attack reduces the amount of damage you take for a time. In fact, yep, there you go. So it boosts your defense. Firm Resolve boosts your defense. You will attack an enemy and The more attacks you get in, if they were to hit you, it'll tickle. It won't even do that much damage. So firm resolve is very, very good, especially for dual swords, because dual swords are a very good defensive weapon anyway. Momentum pretty much just reduces the ki you use whenever you land a lot of attacks, but this isn't as useful as this is. So firm resolve, if you don't have Mystic Dyad, but if you do, don't worry, both of them will be active regardless. Just make sure you activate both of them. In order to do that, you have to go to this, and you see how it says active. That lets you know that both this one and this one are active. This one is set because this is the one I'm using. This one is active because of Mystic Dyad. Okay, make sure you set them. I can set this one and this one be active, or I can set this one and this one be active. Doesn't matter, but make sure you set them. Okay, make sure you set the one that you want to use, because if you ever lose Mystic Dyad, the one that says active will be gone, but you'll still have this one that says set. So make sure you set which one you want the most, and then you should be good to go. But back to our skills. Cherry Blossom. I use Cherry Blossom instead of Spinning Dragon. Spinning Dragon looks really cool. It reminds me of Ninja Gaiden. It's very, 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 very flashy and cool. I don't like it because the tracking isn't very good. That spin that you do when you get to the top, to the air, that spin down, sometimes it doesn't do a good job of tracking the enemy. They might move out the way, they might dodge left or right, and then like it'll probably go a little bit to whatever direction they're in, but most of the time you're kind of left vulnerable. So that's why I go with Cherry Blossom, because Cherry Blossom sometimes gives you a sort of hyper armor, where that downward slash right there, that will track an enemy very well, but also it'll ignore a hit that you might take mid-air. So I find that to be very, very, very useful in combat. Not to mention, it's very good at breaking the horns on yokai and also breaking the guard on humans. So I use Cherry Blossom. As for the little effect on the side, like the custom active skill setting effect, you can use whatever you want. This is personal preference. This does not matter at all. So you can use whatever you want. I just got damage boost magic just because it gives it a slight extra damage boost. Sound Cross is a mainstay for any dual sword build. Any dual sword build, Sound Cross will have to be worked into your attack patterns no matter what. Has to be worked into there. So definitely use Sound of the Cross because it's the best skill. It's the most powerful skill the dual sword pretty much has to offer, in my opinion. As for our L1 triangle, Windstorm is really good. It's very fast, it's very grounded. It also has nice mobility because you see how it moves forward. Windstorm is very good against human enemies. It's good against yokai enemies as well, but it's very good against human enemies because human enemies tend to, you know, block and dodge a lot. So Windstorm helps you sometimes even break the guard on the enemy as well as track them down. Water Sword is the other move that I use because Water Sword pretty much locks an enemy in place, but it's only good for yokai. So Windstorm is good for both yokai and humans. Water Sword is only good for yokai. This will not work on humans because if you try this, you'll probably knock them back, and then that'll give them enough time to regain their ki and pretty much go on the offensive against you. But yokai, whenever a yokai is stunned, they're pretty much locked in the same position for a certain amount of time before they get their ki back. So you can literally punish them with Water Sword, especially if you're strong enough to finish them off. But yeah, Windstorm is for humans and yokai. This is strictly for yokai. Mortal Flow I don't use in high stance because I feel as though there are better skills such as Water Sword and Windstorm to use in high stance. I don't use any of these either because I just don't use them. If you want to use these, feel free. All the skills are personal preference, but in my opinion, Water Sword and Windstorm are the best skills to use in this stance. Raijin is just here because there's no other skill I can put there, so I just have it there. That's why I don't even have an active skill setting on it or nothing like that. Winter Wind is very good. Winter Wind is good for closing the distance on enemies as well as ki pulsing, but it also serves as a quick little hit to help you combo into. It's very good. I put Deliberate Slice on it, that way I can gain back even more ki from it. So yeah, Winter Wind is really good for closing the distance and also continuing combos. God of Wind. God of Wind is the best skill in my opinion to break the guard and break the ki on enemies. That's why I put Masterful Slice on it. It's very good. That kick right there destroys ki on enemies, and then it has an extra 2 little slices to it if you go down to God of Wind 3. Boom, boom. See? So if you get all the way down to God of Wind 3, you'll do that little kick, and then you'll have another 2-3 extra slices on it. Okay. But next is, of course, the same thing, Sign of Cross. Sign of Cross is a mainstay in the dual swords mainstay. It will always be there. If you notice, the dual swords don't have the most amount of different skills. It doesn't have a lot of variety to it. But if you use the dual swords correctly, it does not matter. You will destroy enemies, and it wouldn't even be fair. But as for the L1 and square demon thrust, you can use Punish the Proud. You get this from fighting Imagawa. It's a art of the combat drop. It's a secret art skill drop, so you can use it, but it only works, in my opinion, on human enemies, not on yokai. This works on both yokai and humans. It's a very good skill, especially if you're blocking and you have the mind to actually like use it. It's very good. It can disrupt the enemy and leave them open for more attacks. The strike is a very good counter for human enemies. It looks really flashy. I like it, but I rarely use it because most of the time I'm just trying to, overwhelm the enemy rather than be super flashy with the counters and stuff. But if you are very good at countering, you'll probably make good use out of it. Now, Moon Shadow is the second best skill, I would say, that breaks the key and the guard on enemies. Very, very good for breaking the key and guard on enemies. As you can see, if an enemy is guarding, if you tap triangle at the right time, you'll slide behind them and deliver a devastating blow to break their guard, and you might even drain their ki at a certain point. I put Arcane of the Dead on there because it gives me 5% extra ki and extra damage. So it's really good for human enemies. It even works on certain yokai. I think the little crab yokai, usually those are very tough, so you can probably use this to slide behind them, because I know getting behind them is their weak spot. So it's really good. It's a really good move. It's very fast, as you can see. So I think that you should definitely put this into your repertoire to try to get the most use out of it as possible. Again, Raijin, because there's no other skill that goes there. Winter Wind on key post is pretty much, like I said, really good to close the distance as well as keep combat going. Now, Dual Dragon I use in low stance because low stance is the stance I'm trying to be most mobile. As you can see, Dual Dragon puts me behind my enemy as well as out of danger if they were to attack me, try to attack me when I'm in the air. So it pretty much it doesn't attack, jumps out of danger, recenters you behind the enemy. It's very good in my opinion. You could use God of Wind here, but I feel as though using Dual Dragon here is better for the dual swords, because once I do that attack and get behind them, I can either continue or I can back up really fast. Sign of Cross, of course, because that's the only one that goes in the R1 circle. Moon Shadow, only one that goes there. Double-headed slice is very good. I use this to put elemental debuffs on enemies. I have corruption set right now, but I usually either have water or lightning. Water and lightning are the easiest other elements to inflict on the enemy rather than corruption. Fire is not very easy to inflict on enemies for some reason, I guess, unless they're weak to fire. Other than that, I would stick with between lightning, water, and corruption. It's very good skill. You do this if you do this like twice, you'll automatically inflict whatever elemental debuff you have on the skill at the time on the enemy. So 2 of those will inflict corruption on the enemy. Here's Mortal Flow. Mortal Flow is really good in terms of usability for low stance, because like I said, you want to be as mobile as possible. Right after that, those 2 little hits, you can either back up or you can throw out a yokai ability to pretty much continue your combo and cancel your little wait time. It's really good. But that pretty much does it for the skills on a dual sword. I always say this in every video, skills are personal preference. You use whatever skills you're more comfortable with, whatever ones you like the best. So don't worry about people telling you which skills are better, which skills are not. Every skill is good, every skill is useful. It's just all personal preference. Use the skills that you think you are better with. Hit the dojo, practice them. See which ones you feel as though you can combo into better, which ones you feel as though work better for you. So yeah, that's it for the skill portion. Next we'll move on to our stats. As follows, the stats are Constitution 102, because I didn't have anything else to put into it, so I just put 102 because it's pretty good. Heart is at 20. The reason why heart is so low And a lot of people might ask me, why is your heart so low? It's the reason because I already have over 1500 ki. Most of the time you get put heart up because you want as much ki as possible. I actually learned that heart over 15, it's no point, because at that point you get minuscule returns on stat points. The only reason you would want to upgrade heart any higher is if you were running the sword, or if your weapons scale with heart. If your weapon doesn't scale with heart, maximum you need 20. I put it excuse me, I put it at 20 because like I said, I didn't have any more stat points really to go anywhere, so I just was like, screw it, I'll put heart at 20. But 15 is the good cutoff heart, because I think at some point you only start getting ki by like 3 or 2 or something like that. It's very, very low. It doesn't, it's no point in even going any higher than 15. So heart is at 20 just because I had that little bit extra to put into it, so I decided to just screw it, put it on 20. Courage is at 150 to meet the stat requirements for ultimate courage. Stamina is at 100, and skill and strength is at 40, because those right there put me in 69.9 equipment weight, which helps me be in B agility. Now, I did remodel all my pieces of gear except for the chest piece. The reason why I didn't do the chest piece is because my gear was way too heavy. I couldn't even get in B agility because of how heavy the gear was. But I took it off. I didn't remodel my chest piece, so that allows me to be in B agility right now. I'm literally at the very, very end of where I should be in order to be in B agility. So I had to put my stamina up to 100 and strength up to 40. Skill is at 200 because that is what my weapon scales with. Not to mention I have ultimate skill, so I needed to have at least 150 skill to take advantage of it, but my weapon scales with skill, so that's why I have it at 200. Dexterity is at 30 just to meet the capacity, and then magic is at 150 because I am using ultimate magic. Ultimate magic is a very, very important skill for Depths of the Underworld. It's probably one of the most important between that and ultimate courage. If you have ultimate magic and ultimate courage on the scroll, you pretty much are set. It does not matter whatever. You don't need any other ultimate stat at all. Like, you'll be fine with both ultimate courage and ultimate magic. So yeah, that's what I'm running right there. But again, as you can see, during the beginning half, I said that this build is very tanky. I have over 11,000 defense. As you can see, I have over 11,000 defense. I'm almost at 12,000. I need 500 more defense and I'll be at 12,000 defense. My toughness is over 357, so I'm pretty much over the threshold I would need to be to have AA toughness if I was running ultimate stamina. So like I said, this build is very tanky, so you can use it if you're very skill based, and even if you're not very skill based, you'll still be able to utilize this build because of how tanky it is, and it's also very, very fast. Again, agility will be better for the best skill based players, but since I'm not the best skill based player, I stuck with B agility because it's just fine for me. I move around very quickly, and it works out in my favor. But that is it for the stats. The only stats that are probably differ between my build and whatever build anybody else makes are the ones that scale with their weapon. Whatever they want their weapon to scale, whatever you want your weapon to scale with, that's the stat that's going to probably be the highest. Other than that, ultimate courage, ultimate magic, those are my ultimate stats that I need to have up, so that's why they are there. If we go over to our special effects, we're not focusing on the damage really, we're more so focusing on the movement. So as you can see, my dodge key consumption is at 45.4, which is really good. Basically, I'm not going to be using up that much key at all, just dodging around. It's very, very good. I get faster key recovery on dodge attack, as you know, faster movement, dodge attack. If we go down to our guard key recovery, 45%, that's really good. Basically, when I'm guarding, my key recovery will be a lot faster. Key recovery speed is at 38.5%, which is really good. Pretty much I get key back almost instantly. It's great. But that pretty much takes care of all of that. This build is really good. If I'm being truthful, it's a really good build. It pretty much takes elements of both very, very good pro players, and then also, you know, the casual player. the player who's not super great at, you know, the technicals and the technicalities of the game. So that's what I try to make this build, you know, tailored to. I tailored it to my play style. My play style is more so both fast paced and technical, but also I like to be able to take a hit, because I know at some point I'm not going to be able to dodge, and I know I'm going to get hit because my reaction time might be off on a certain thing. So that's why I made the build the way I did. But in the end, it's a very good build. But that is it for the build. I will go to next my clan. That's what I needed to show you, the clan I'm running. Right. This is the clan that I run for pretty much every single this is the clan I run for pretty much every single build that I do. So right now I am running the Meta clan. The Meta clan comes with thrust damage plus 5%, which I don't need because I'm not really using any thrust attacks. But the main thing is the reduced defense on grapple. As you can see, it says 55%. That is just when you pretty much start out. So when you're starting out and say you haven't really dealt with clans before and you're not really, sure, you'll start with that 55% defense on grapple. Now, the more you play the game and the more you get your status up, as you can see, I'm pretty much maxed out in the clan. Like I'm pretty much at the top status. I'm in the clan. Your 55% defense goes up to 100%, as you can see at the top. Reduced defense on grapple is 100%. So basically, whenever you do, that's why whenever in all of my videos, anytime you've seen me do a grapple, my grapples take away a massive chunk of the health of the enemy, because my first grapple I did on them reduced their defense. The second grapple I did pretty much, did increase damage because of the reduced defense they had. So that's why I run Meta clan. My grapples do they put the defense debuff on the enemy, and they do an insane amount of damage. It's honestly ridiculous. And thrust damage only goes up to 8%. That's nothing. But that reduced defense on grapple, very, very good, very, very powerful. So that is exactly why I run the Meta clan. Other clans you can run, I would say Toyotomi is good for beginners to farm loot, and also for the life recovery on riddle absorption is really good. But this is definitely for beginners. This right here, Honda clan, is really good for tanky builds. Like if you're running Oyama Atsumi, which is also a grace from the underworld, this is very good for tanky builds. Because you take, like right there, I don't know what the max is, but for the start off, 50% damage is halved. So the damage taken is 50% when you aren't even touched. That's very powerful, especially for Oyama Atsumi, since it's a tanking build. Tanking grace, I mean. But honestly, in terms of clans, you would have to try them all out to see which one works best for you. I liked how this one worked right here. Like I liked how this worked because of the reduced defense on grapple. So that's why I chose it. But yeah. Anything else I need to go over? So I did the weapons, did the gear, did the accessories, did the items, did the guardian spirit, went through the skill tree, went through my skills, did my stats, and I did my clan. So yeah, I think that is actually it for the video. Again, trying out a different template, so the videos will go on a bit longer than usual. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell to make sure you know whenever I put a video up. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you guys for, again, watching the content. It's King Red Diamonds, and I'm out.